in the heart of the village of Ikorodo, where the sun bathed the earth in golden hues and the air smelled of cassava and smoke from roasting maize, there lived a talented young woman named Chinwe. Her skill with beads and metals was unmatched. Her jewelry had become the pride of the village. Villagers would travel far just to commission a delicate, finely crafted necklaces and bracelets, each piece bearing her unique touch of art. But Chinwe's most prized creation was the silver necklace, a piece that, according to the elders, had been forged from silver taken from the river that lay hidden deep within the forest. If the village elder often told stories of the river's origins, the ancient river where generations of their ancestors were said to have been buried in the sacred waters, their spirits forever bound to the flowing stream. Chinwe had never taken the stories seriously. After all, they were just that, stories. Yet she couldn't shake the chill that ran down her spine whenever the elders would speak of the river. Silver from that river, they would say, can bring fortune, but only at a price. One day, Chinwe received an invitation from the Oba, the king of a neighboring village, to come and craft a special necklace for his daughter's wedding. This was the highest honor, a chance to have her work displayed to the highest of dignitaries. She was thrilled but also nervous. She needed something extra special for the occasion. It was that night, while she was at her workshop, surrounded by the soft flicker of kerosene lamps, that she heard the voice of Eve. The old woman was standing at her doorstep, her face etched with concern. Chinwe, my child, I've said slowly, you are about to make a choice that will bind you to the past. Chinwe's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean, elder? Silver? I've began, her voice trembling. That silver comes from a river that no one dares to visit anymore. It is a place of restless spirits. People used to go there years ago to honor their ancestors, but they never returned. That silver is cursed. And Chinwe laughed nervously. Cursed? Elder, you know these tales are just stories. I've heard them my whole life. My necklace will bring beauty, not curses. Ive's wrinkled hands trembled as she reached into her bag, pulling out a small faded cloth. She unwrapped it, revealing a delicate piece of silver jewelry, one of the most beautiful pieces Chinwe had ever seen. It was a necklace with intricate patterns woven into the silver. Eve placed it gently in Chinwe's hands. This necklace was made by your grandmother, Ife whispered. She was the last to use silver from that river. She died under strange circumstances, though. None of us ever found out why. The room fell silent, save for the sound of crickets outside. Chinwe stared at the necklace, feeling an eerie heaviness in the air. Despite her reservations, she couldn't deny the allure of the silver. It shimmered in the dim light as though it held some secret. The following day, Chinwe made a decision. She had to craft the perfect necklace for the Oba's daughter, something that would make her the talk of the entire village. She ventured into the forest, where the river lay hidden beneath the thick canopy of trees. As she stood at the edge of the river, the air grew thick with a scent of damp earth. The water sparkled unnaturally, almost too bright. A sense of unease settled in her stomach. But Chinwe had come this far. She bent down and scooped up the silver from the water's surface, feeling the coldness of the river seep into her skin. But as she did, she thought she heard a faint whisper. So faint that she couldn't be sure if it was her imagination. Chinwe. It sent a shiver down her spine, but she shrugged it off. She had work to do. With the silver in hand, she returned home and immediately set to work. Over the next few days, Chinwe crafted a necklace like no other. Its patterns reflected the flow of the river itself, winding and twisting like the spirits of the dead who had once been part of it. She worked late into the night, consumed by the beauty of her creation. But as she did, strange things began to happen. She started to have vivid dreams, dreams of water, rushing, cold and dark. She would wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, her heart pounding in her chest. In one particularly unsettling dream, she saw faces, hollow eyed, unblinking, and cold. They whispered her name, calling to her from the depths of the river. Chinwe. The next morning, she shook off the fear, blaming it on exhaustion. After all, she was preparing for the biggest commission of her life. But when she went to deliver the necklace to the Oba's village, the strange occurrences escalated. As she entered the Oba's palace, she noticed something was off. The air felt heavier, as though something was watching her. The moment the necklace was placed around the bride's neck, there was a sudden chill that swept through the room. The bride's eyes widened for a brief moment before she regained her composure. But Chinwe could see it, the shadows lurking just behind the bride, forming shapes that didn't belong. That night, the village was silent. Chinwe stayed at a local inn, but her sleep was troubled. She was awakened by a knocking at her door. When she opened it, there stood the bride, her face pale, eyes wide with terror. "I can't take it off," she whispered. "The necklace, it won't come off." Jimmy's stomach twisted. She knew then that the necklace had done something to the bride. But what? Before she could speak, the bride's hand shot up to her throat as if something invisible was choking her. The woman gasped for breath, eyes bulging, and then, with a final scream, collapsed in Chinwe's arms. The innkeeper, hearing the scream, rushed to the room, but by the time he arrived, the bride was gone, disappeared into thin air. Chinwe fled the village in fear, knowing she could never return to Ikorodo. But as she did, she began to feel the weight of the silver necklace around her neck, the one she had once thought so beautiful. Each step felt heavier, each whisper in the wind colder. It wasn't long before she returned to her village, only to find that the once bustling marketplace had grown quiet. The air had changed, darker, colder. Chinwe felt as though the spirits of the dead were walking among the living. The elders spoke in hushed tones about her return. If was there too, her gaze full of sorrow. "You have angered them," she said softly. "The dead never forget what belongs to them." Chinwe fell to her knees, the weight of her actions suffocating her. She had stolen from the river, the sacred river, and now the spirits would never leave her. The villagers spoke in whispers of the price that would come for Chinwe, a price she could never escape. Each night, she could hear the whispers of the dead, and the once beautiful necklace now seemed to grow colder with every passing day. From that day forward, Chinwe was never seen again. Some say the necklace still rests at the bottom of the river, waiting for the next soul to take it. Others say Chinwe's spirit wanders the village at night, bound to the silver, the whispers of the dead never truly stopping.